14 degrees Celsius, it is raining, and we are standing here in the center of the beautiful city of Prague. We want to take a look at the drug policy situation in the Czech Republic. Some people like to believe that everything is legal here and that Prague has become the second Amsterdam. Sadly, this is far from being true.
Das schönste Wetter haben wir nicht, dafür aber das schönste Auto.
Hi, my name is Boaz Wachtel. I'm from Israel. I'm the guy who started to push the authorities in Israel in 1995 to provide access to medical cannabis in Israel. And today, at 2013, we have 13,000 patients served by 8 legal growers. And we are very happy that Israel is one of 3 countries with a national medical cannabis program. And we hope that the other countries will follow.
How is the actual law in Israel on cannabis?
Recreational use is prohibited, punishable up to 15 grams by up to maximum of 3 years in jail and a $20,000 fine. So, but it's never really a maximum is given. Okay, so but they arrest a lot of people and they don't bring them into trial. So we try to fight it, the waste of resources by police. And from a medical point of view, having a national medical cannabis program is in compliance, in full compliance with UN drug conventions.
And for which conditions, for which diseases do you use the cannabis?
Maybe 60% is for pain, chronic pain from a variety of sources. Maybe 30% is for cancer, for pain associated with cancer and chemotherapy against nausea and vomiting. And we also know today that cannabis, and CBD particularly, is anti-cancerous by itself. And then we have multiple sclerosis, ALS, fibromyalgia, and some other gastro diseases, and even asthma. And then we have also maybe 250 patients who are war veterans who suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome and have not been helped by conventional medicines. And we did a study in Israel with these veterans, war veterans, and we saw a tremendous improvement in all the functionality of these individuals. Both that they sleep better and the avoidance syndrome is reduced, and they function in the family and they go to work. So people who suffer from PTSD for 40 years suddenly can have a relief. And we are very proud, and we'd like this to the rest of the world to know, because NATO countries, including Austria, that sent soldiers to Afghanistan or Iraq as part of the international allied forces, and these soldiers who have PTSD could be helped by cannabis in different forms, by smoke, by drops and so on. Well, if these officials from the Austrian government sees this film, I want to tell them that having a national medical cannabis is legal under UN drug conventions. You don't have to invent anything new. It's been done by other governments before. You will not be the first government to do it. There's experience that could be shared, and we are a group of experts from a network of activists around the world who help governments and activists open the possibility to have medical cannabis in the country, and that the politicians should not be the prisoners of the pharmaceutical companies, yes, and that medical cannabis could save the state a lot of money in medical bills, yes. We see in Israel that patients who have 5, 6, or 7 different medications, 3 months later, after they start smoking cannabis, they go to 1 or 2 medications. So having a national medical cannabis program means that the country can save money on the national medical health bills. Okay, so and every country wants to save some money. That is the a solution, and also a compassionate and a moral solution for people to have access to a medication that is a tremendously versatile and very effective.
Too High to Fail, as I said, follows the journey of one locally legal cannabis plant from farm to patient, but it was amazing, this experiment that Mendocino County did. It's very important to me that as the drug war ends and the world comes back to this 10,000-year-old plant, that we make sure that the plant is cultivated in a way that's friendly to the planet. And the Mendocino Plan, the zip tie program, had sustainability guidelines written into the program. It was an unmitigated success. I can't stress enough. Everybody loved it. Even the skeptics, the black market farmers that didn't join up the first year, they're watching very closely. Everybody was ready to join. It raised money, it saved police jobs, it lowered crime because for the first time farmers could call the sheriff if a power line was down or if there was a violence or a break-in. The sheriff permitted you. You had a sheriff's framed permit in your house, and the zip ties, they weren't going to arrest you for your garden. So the paranoia was ending. The society was going in a great direction. Unfortunately, the U.S. federal government has not yet ended prohibition. We're in a state similar to just before the end of alcohol prohibition in the U.S., where the states were calling it off because it's ridiculous. Albert Einstein said prohibition of something that people want undermines people's respect for laws in general. And 100 million Americans have used cannabis, including the last 3 presidents. And so it's obviously time to end these ridiculous laws against responsible adult social use of a plant that is far less dangerous than alcohol. The federal government is not on board yet, and they, spoiler alert, they raided towards the end of Too High to Fail. They raided the farmers that were these law-abiding, cartel-fighting, tax revenue-generating, job-creating, sustainable farmers. But the model is there, and it's a wonderful model that could be used to benefit local communities worldwide. Let me give an example in an Austrian village. Austria is ahead of the curve in utilizing biomass energy. You have Austrian farmers who are using their farm waste and putting them in these gasification furnaces and generating energy for your energy grid. If you're a cannabis farmer, you're providing this valuable cash crop and flour to the economy. Or if you're a hemp farmer, this is a hemp shirt my girlfriend made for me, you likewise end with these stalks that are otherwise unusable. You can be creating energy for your community as well as providing hemp or cannabis for your community. It's a win-win. There's almost no downside to ending cannabis prohibition, and this model in Too High to Fail would work in Austria as well to benefit local farmers.
How is the drug law in Poland? What is the law?
Law is bad. It's a light word for this drug policy. It's the most prohibited country in Europe, I think. There was a first medical research in Poland some week ago, but for our jak jest nieszczęście? For a bad luck, police just block it and write on the plantation of cannabis and took everything. This research project started in February this year. We've got every confirmation to make this project. Not we, but institute. And everything was good. Everything was legal. Someone stupid in this police, from these police officers, just write on these laboratories and arrest our plantators, workers of this institute, took them to the arrest, take all plants and all flowers, and after 2 days, prosecutor just let them free, let them out without any sentences, because it was legal in the law, and it's an ambush for science, you know, in Poland, because this institute work with mostly more danger substances, which 1 kilo of this the thing can kill 100 million people, you know, and it's a fear from a cannabis, I think, in Polish minds. It's a problem, big problem in Poland, that wisdom about it is still on the low level. Yeah, someone just gave a decision to block this project, and in Poland we cannot do researches with cannabis plants. You know, Wolne Konopie fights for your rights. Wolne Konopie helps help victims in your cases. Wolne Konopie is an organization who fight for your freedom. Sadzić, palić, zalegalizować.
I find you in a new project, the CBD project.
Yes,
so
that's right.
could you tell me something about it?
Yes, I mean, a CBD project is deliberately designed to produce medically beneficial cannabis rather than recreational, because so many people are taking cannabis these days and don't want to get high. I mean, I'm not one of them. I still get high. But so many people these days don't want that experience, even if they've never had it. They just want to cure themselves. So because of our knowledge of genetics, our knowledge of the plants from recreational drugs, we have devised a way where we can enrich the CBD content of marijuana.
What is your personal motivation to get involved in this CBD project?
The personal motivation is simply to use the knowledge that we have for non-money making projects, really. I mean, it's not like, oh, there's a market there, let's fill it. It's let's share the information because people are suffering and we want to help them. There is no other interest whatsoever, you know. We are talking about life and death of people and they suffering, you know. It's not a time to mess about. I mean, we are both crooks, you know. Or sort of, we have CVs of being very, very, you know, big smuggler and stuff like that. But this is, you know, a straightforward use of the expertise we got for what we hope will be, you know, a very fruitful and necessary problem to solve.
What do you think about legalization? What would be the positive effects for that?
Oh, of legalization? Oh, I mean, I've always supported legalization, even when I made money from it being illegal. The positive effects, I think, very simply, would be that cannabis would be less harmful to society if legalized and controlled. Just really as simple as that. It would be less harmful. For a start, you wouldn't have the harmful effects of prohibition. You know, because to me, that's a very sinister way of dealing with the problem. If it was legalized, it would simply be safer. Not that it's very dangerous anyway, but let's make it safer.
So we should end the war on drugs?
I thought it had ended. Well, no, I mean, it seems to be sort of losing it's been losing it for a long time. Yes, of course, those involved in law enforcement, you know, will struggle to keep it going. But lawyers, for example, in UK, certainly don't see that as the problem now and just think it's a very silly waste of time.
I just talked to a Czech activist, and he said that medical marijuana is now, medical cannabis is now, they have some projects here in Republic Czech, and that he thinks that the police or the government turns down the grow shops because they are afraid of competition.
Yes, I mean, I've heard this too, that, you know, that medical cannabis is sort of legalized now, you know, but for 1 year and then it changes into something else. And in that year, of course, you will get corporate pharmaceutical companies trying to get any business they can anywhere. They are much more ruthless than us, you know. So they will try to get the business. And of course, to the extent that they may be able to corrupt the police and help them get the business is something I can't comment on. I don't know. But, you know, it wouldn't be hard to imagine it in any other country, so why not here? I don't know. That's the way, unfortunately, things happen. Pharmaceutical companies are terribly ruthless. They don't really care about the population. And, you know, it's obviously wrong for a democratic government to allow it to exist.
We are now here with the guys from the Verdamper. We know them from several other occasions like the Cultiva. Yes, wherever we can vaporize, we will vaporize. Yeah, people may have problems with the police, but they can bring us their grass and we will vaporize it. So the people won't have any problems anymore. Yeah, that's our life.
Das habe ich hier gesehen, jetzt bin ich bei euch vorbeigegangen und dann sehe ich hier, da ist irgendwas, da habt ihr einen Flyer.
On your flyers there are words crossed out. What's going on? Did some of you get creative?
War da einer von euch kreativ oder was ist da passiert?
Ja, wir sind immer kreativ, so das ist kein Problem.
Yeah, sure, we are always creative, but in this case the police had become even more creative. Some of them might have thought, well, we have to do something new, and so the situation last year was great, but now they have turned time back as it was 3 years ago. Our flyers contain words that are forbidden here. Not words like alcohol, of course, this is pretty normal, you know, from alcohol you get a hole in the head. That's no problem, but hemp gives you ideas in the head, and that, of course, is a problem.
Gedanken in die Kopf, und das ist ein großes Problem natürlich.
Also das ist praktisch wie die...
Just like on television when you could not say fuck. Today, here, you are not allowed to say words like grass and cannabis, because that is dangerous.
Darf man nicht, also, das darf man...
Das geht jetzt so. Dann bekommst du hier warme Luft, ja, und hier ist es dann bliep und dann bliep, bliep. Okay. Ja, und dann geht das durch das Wasser und nach oben und dann ist der rein, das der bliep. Because das ist ganz gefährlich, hè? Das ist ganz gefährlich, da kannst du nachdenken. Ja, und das geht so in die Kopf. Und dann kannst du hier noch denken, das ist ganz schön. Ja, aber das ist das ungefähr. Hè? Aber so ist das Gespräch, immer mit bliep, bliep und bliep, bliep.
And that's wonderful appliances you have there, and as I understand, you cannot only smoke the bleep with them.
Nein, das gibt es auch größeren drin zu machen.
Rauchen gibt es ja bei euch gar nicht, ne?
Nein, das ist ein schlechtes Apparat.
Yeah, we put mint into them, so even with the bleep bleep, it will always taste like mint a little bit.
Das bliep bliep rein macht, das schmeckt das immer noch nach Mint, hè? Das ist ganz scheiße. So,
Yeah, but these are good appliances, so if you put only bleep bleep into them, it will only taste like bleep bleep, of course.
Ganz gut nach bliep bliep. Ja, aber auch normale Kräutern gehen rein und auch...
And it is good for, you know, everything else. And of course you can use it with other herbs, but I know nothing much about other herbs. I usually do the bleep bleep.
Mit die bliep bliep rein, ja.
Yeah, that's what we all do.
Ich bedanke mich fürs Gespräch. Leute, wenn ihr mal was wissen wolltet, der Verdamper.
People, check out the great vaporizers by the Verdamper.
Könnt ihr euch mehr über diese Geräte mal anschauen. Ja, danke, dass du mal kurz vor der Kamera warst. Ja, alles Gute.
Ja, bis nächstes Mal wieder. Hè?
Genau.
Dann können wir etwas bliep bliep machen.
Genau.
Zusammen natürlich. Hè?
Tschüss. Bye.
We are here at Old Town Square in Prague, and this is a peaceful protest demonstration against the police raid on grow shops and the grow shop owners. The police raided 50 grow shops which were selling the goods for growing all different plants, and they were all legal, and the owners were accused of spreading the drug abuse, although they were complying with every law.
Everybody has to understand what is abuse and what is use. Abusing is the unjust and ineffective and really old and prohibitional drug policy. So the only abusers of cannabis are governments who keep prohibition and supporting war on drugs. Hello, my name is Robert Veverka, and I'm from magazine Legalize and from NGO legalizace.cz. It's an NGO trying to reform drug policy in the Czech Republic for the last 15 years. Yeah, what happened, it was that on Monday, 4th of November, the police started raid. They solved it the way that they seized and confiscated stuff from more than 50 grow shops all over the country, and basically they liquidate those legal stores, and now started a court case with all of these companies to prove that they were actually supporting black market. We are actually pretty opinion about that it has link or is related to the legalization of medicinal cannabis, because any actually actions or any people who grow for themselves are competitors to this growing legal business, you know, with cannabis, you know. For these big companies, 2 companies got a permit to import medicinal cannabis from Holland. One of those companies is one of the biggest pharmaceutical distributor in Czech Republic, company Phoenix, and they will be the ones who will be dealing with medicinal cannabis and selling it. They will be able to import four different strains of cannabis from Holland. The problem is the limit, because Bedrocan has limit of 50 kilos per year or something like that. And the second thing is the price, because the wholesaling prices, you know, to buy it in Holland are actually, for gram of cannabis, is higher than retail or, let's say, customer prices on a black market for 1 gram, you know. So it seems to be like they will be very difficult for those companies to sell that cannabis, because no one with the brains will be buying it, because it's just too bloody expensive. It cannot be like this, you know. It's really getting to like sort of a police state, which we would have here. We would have it here. It was here during the communistic regime, you know, that the police was actually setting the norms, how to act, how to behave. And today we have grow shops. Tomorrow it will be clubs where they play reggae, you know, and day after it will be like people with strange haircuts who might end up in a prison, you know. And we don't really want back. We don't really want back this total regime or Putin regime, maybe, which is coming, you know, the Russian influence. So nothing like that. No, we are like, yeah, I would say democratic country, and we understand our rights, and we really fight for them. We got support from Pirate Party, quite big, and also Green Party. So these parties actually had the guts to come and support us, because we believe that it's like really attack on freedom, and it starts like a police state. Now the police is saying what's like moral and what's not, unmoral, you know, and they believe that like growing cannabis for personal use, it's unmoral, although it's proved that from Western world, you know, from United States or South America coming the signs that legalization actually will take the place really soon, you know, after 80 years of prohibition. So police in Czech Republic declare war on drugs, although United Nations already said it's like failed after 50 years, but probably no one speaks English and they cannot really read it. So they start to fight against cannabis now, and we're gonna fight back, but with brain.
Okay, thank you very much.
Prohibition? Soll's deppert? Europäer beitreten.
Keep fighting, never stop fighting.
Hasta la victoria siempre.